I'll just, we'll just use that, but you guys don't have to.
Yeah, but I don't need to purchase yet.
There's your.
No, don't need to.
All right, I'll be back.
Yes.
I think we go to
I'm going, yes.
roll call for the planning commission.
Okay.
You had a busy day, Regina?
Yes, and it's Gina.
I know, yeah.
I put the mask on because it's like, we need to get the COVID after I heard that meeting. I was trying to make it there on Monday.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Somebody got COVID and I was over there. I said, no, glad I didn't go. I do not need to get COVID second time.
Mhm. So we're just waiting for two others, right?
I know,
Three.
I think there's gonna be some people, there's Gina, that aren't gonna be here.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi. Hello. Oh, you can go on that one. Can I go behind that? Yes, just be careful.
Welcome.
Yes, thank you. Hello, everybody. Oh, I'm not you. One person, I'm not
You know, one person, that's, you only know one person that's whole.
Anybody else?
You probably know the most important person. so.
Yeah, well,
That's right.
So I'm Eugene,
hello.
and you are,
Son Guadalupe para que está Guada.
okay, that was too fast. Guadalupe,
Yeah, so Guada, that's the last name on it.
Guadalupe,
But I go by Guada.
you go by Guada.
Perez,
That's
that's my last
remind me of a little summer fruit we used to eat in Florida called guava.
name. Yeah, Guada, yeah.
Can everybody read that okay, or do I need to make a little larger?
I
I think we
can't-
have
You
it,
must-
it's right here, right?
You must
We
be
have
have
it
good
right
eyes, but I'm,
here.
Ain't no way I can read that from here. I can read notice and I can read agenda. Everything else, I can call it to order. Let me
Yeah.
see,
Yeah.
roll call.
So I'm gonna,
I'm doing pretty good. Public comment.
so it's 6:02, so I guess
Oh,
I
yes,
will,
let's
I'll,
start. Yes.
I'll do a roll call.
Mhm.
So Chair Jones,
Here.
okay, we've got Commissioner Thomas.
Here.
Okay, Commissioner Anne Marie, oh, sorry, Pagan. Not here.
And we're recording. Gina.
Yes, we are recording. Commissioner Foliaki?
Here.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Ruiz Perez? Commissioner Perez?
Perez,
Bettis?
here.
Got it. Okay, so roll call again at 6:02 PM. So I guess we will review the agenda. Everyone can have an opportunity if they haven't had an opportunity to review it. Okay, so we do not have a quorum, so we don't have any items that we're going to be voting on or anything, so.
Correct.
Correct, okay.
So I guess this first meeting is mainly an informational meeting to get to know you and get to know our purpose or our reason for the mission of this commission. So I'll leave this. Sure. I'm a little out of practice, so you just have to bear with me. So there is no public comment, right, Gene?
That's correct,
Okay,
Yeah.
because we're only doing this as an informational meeting.
yes.
And then the introduction of staff liaison.
That would be me.
Okay.
So my name is Nick Borges. I'm the acting police chief here. I've been here for near 20 years. I'm only acting, so I've been here for It'll be 9 months and a few days as an acting police chief. And I'm happy to, at some point, through the chair, to talk a little bit about kind of my vision and working together with this committee. I think it's going to be something very positive to have this kind of advisory group. The police department is the most sensitive department in any city. And my goals are to establish a culture where we have transparency, and I'll talk more about that at some point this evening, but that's what I am.
Thank you, sir. Introduction of commission members, and I will start with myself, and then we will go to my left around. Okay. I'm Eugene Jones. I'm pastor here in the city of Seaside at the Atlantic Church of God in Christ down in Sonoma, Florida. I've been in this community for over 40 years, 42, 43, 44 years. I think I've been here in this community. I'm raised up, family, we were married, raised our family here, and we lived here in Seaside for all of those years. And so after I retired from the Department of Corrections, I thought it was time to get back to my family. So I've heard about the committee, this commission, and I want to be a part of it. Didn't necessarily want to be chair. I just want to be a part. Because I thought that I had something to offer, something to do. And so that's who I am.
Don Thomas. I'm the president of Monterey County NAACP, but I'm participating on this particular commission as a resident of Seaside. Actually born and raised here in Fort Worth. Graduated from Seaside High School and then moved away from Seaside for 30 years and lived in Southern California. Came back to Seaside probably about 7 years ago and got more involved in community things. And I'm on this committee because Mayor Ogletree asked me to be on this committee, and when the mayor asks you to do something, you say yes. Very happy to serve Mayor Ogletree.
My name is Celia Folia. I moved here in 1979 from American Samoa. Went to Seaside High, graduated out of Seaside High, MPC. Worked for the diocese for over 10 years. I was, very involved in the community. I do have younger children. I have a high schooler and a college. And also I was an advocate, I still am. We kind of dropped the project on the Tonga community, was doing the time when Ralph was here. So we had the whole school, we had the Embassy of Tonga come down, and it didn't do very well because I'm part Tongan and Samoan. So we try to bring the communities together. So now there's talk about coming together. So when Mr. Mayor asked me, I thought, oh, I kept going around. But like you said, when Mr. Mayor asked me, yes, that's an honor. So I said yes, and I had a lot to offer to the table. And I go to St. Francis Church. We're very active in our community with St. Francis. And for years, like I said, I moved away and moved back. So I'm here to stay and, guide, especially, I'm all about the young generation, getting them back in Seaside High. My son's a captain of the football team, and so very active. So I'm here to, like I said, Mr. Mayor, I said, I have a lot to offer. I have a lot I know. It's just been COVID hit me. COVID hit. We just kind of, everybody hide back. And I'm a paralegal. So that's about I'm doing now and being a mom. And I live on Sonoma Street. I have a very active street. My mother's on 1031 and I'm on 1032. So very active street. For years, it's just been a very challenge, but thanks be to God, I'm here to, I love our police department. Very supportive of what they do, and so when he offered, I'm honored to be a part of this team. That's it.
So my full name is Guadalupe Perez, but I go by Guada, is the first part. And I have been in Seaside since 1953. That's 69 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and I went through all the schools in here too. And at my time it was not Seaside High. So, but I had, anyways, I would have gone to Seaside because that's where I do live. And I'm a retired kindergarten school teacher. The last, I guess, 5 years or so, I taught at the dual language school. So I got the Spanish part. And so I had a group of 25 kids in the morning, and I taught Spanish, and then they went to the English teacher, and the English teacher partner would send me her class. So I did another group of 25 also in Spanish. So I had 50 students, but I only did the Spanish part. So that was very rewarding, and I really appreciated it. And I like the fact that at I retired 5 years ago from CMAP. You know, that was my last school. But so the last few years that I was there, it was really, really rewarding because a lot of the children, only half of them could speak Spanish. The other half could not. They were African American, they were Filipino, they were Anglo, they were a lot of other things, which was wonderful because it just really made the school, the classroom, and made the classroom real cosmopolitan and a lot of different races, which I loved. So this commission just sounded like very interesting. And, you know, we sort of reflect the fact that we have a multicultural community. That's it.
Well, thank you and welcome to each of you. And thank you for being a part and taking part in this commission. It's a very important commission, I feel, and it's a very great time for it to start. And we're on the cusp, as you know, many cities some cities have commissions like this, but many of them do not. So it's just a great opportunity to serve our city and to have input and to get really our community on board to support our police department so that we can have a better city all around. And that's the goal. The goal is for us to have the best seaside that we can have, you know. And if I have 50 students a day, they put me in jail. Yes, I'm sorry.
So I'm Regina.
No, I'm sorry, Regina.
It's okay. I know it's okay. I'm your staff support liaison. So I am his support here with your commission. So again, my name is Regina. I go by Gina, last name is Walamana. I've been with the police department almost 11 years now. I started there as a part-time records tech, and then was working at CSUMB full-time at that time, and then applied to be a senior administrative assistant here with the city and got lucky enough to be hired by the police department full-time. So I'm looking forward to working with you all, and hopefully I can be very supportive and helpful. Again, I'm just announcing up front, this is my first rodeo, so it might be a little rough going. However, please forgive me and allow me a little leeway as I learn through this with this great committee. So
What is your last name?
Lualamana.
Can you spell it?
Lualemana.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great name.
Thank you. I earned it. I got it from my husband.
Oh, I was gonna ask you if you were Hawaiian.
No, my husband is someone. He's
Samoan,
yeah, he's
okay.
American
Alright.
Samoan. Yeah.
My kids play with Eric's kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Eric Jr. We know each other.
Yeah, we're in the same circles.
Yeah, we all want the culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually Filipino and Mexican.
Oh, neat.
My maiden name is Jacinto.
In her past life, she's probably.
Your name is what?
Yeah, my maiden name is Jacinto.
Jacinto.
Thank you.
You know, thank you, Gina. I'm gonna let the chief talk about the ordinance that I was just with this commission. And then we'll go into review and discuss about our regular meeting topics. So, thank you. Anything else you want?
I appreciate that.
You have the floor.
So I'll go over here really what this ordinance is. And this was established with the collaboration of Mayor Oglesby, City Council, and the previous police chief. So the purpose of the committee, and here it's called CPAC, it's actually CSAC. And it's the Community Safety Advisory Commission. It's to foster mutual respect, understanding, and collaboration between the Seaside Police Department, and our community. To that end, CSAC will convene, it says bi-monthly, 6 times a year. And I don't know if that's something we will discuss later on, and because I know it's very difficult to meet with everyone's lives and what we have. But I'll have to check with Dominique to see if we can adjust that and if the chair, so it's reasonable for everybody. But to learn about department initiatives, projects, and successes, meetings may be held more frequently if circumstances warrant. Minutes and meetings shall be maintained by the secretary of the commission, which is Ms. Gina. Additionally, CSAC is encouraged to share their opinions, concerns, and observations. And I'll just kind of stop there. I really want input, and even if there's things controversial or things that you do not like about the police department, that's really what this is all about. And I can take it. I want to hear criticism. I want our department to be better. We changed our department motto to trust. And the very first T in trust is transparency. I mean that when I say it. I'm not a person who says these buzzwords and then I go hide in the closet. I mean that. I want to be transparent. I want to involve you guys with things. And I'll just share one thing that I think is super important. I've wanted to do this for many years. We did it 1 or 2 times. It just didn't last for whatever reason. I think this commission is the perfect model. When we hire police officers, I would love to have someone from the commission, and we can rotate it, whoever's available, sit on these panels for the hiring process of our police officers. Because there's a bunch of positive effects to this. One is we are empowering our community to have a say in who our police officers are. Another reason is you get to know what the process is, and you're on a panel with other members likely of our police department, and you get to do things with them that you would normally get to do. You're part of the same team that has discussions about what we think we want, what the community wants. It gives a different perspective. We get police officers in the room and they're thinking like police officers do. I want this, they should look like this, they should behave like this, they should act like this, their safety, this, they're looking at all these things, where you bring somebody in from the community and they're thinking, I don't like the tone of this officer. Things that we may not see, where your input will be invaluable to who's out there. And how nice is it to be a part of a commission where you're out having dinner somewhere in Seaside and you see a police officer driving, and you say, oh, I saw that officer's oral panel. That's officer so-and-so. And you're gonna know everything about them, what they said about their background, their history, why they want to work here. It's such a positive thing. And oftentimes these oral panels, if we have a lot of candidates, we break bread together, we have lunch together, and we're getting to know each other on a much more personal level. So it's such a win-win, and I know the mayor's on board and city council and our city staff, so I have to just get that in there and plug that in. So I'll continue on here. CSAC shall consist of a maximum of 11 volunteers. Citizens wishing to serve must be Seaside residents who are 18 years or older. Interested volunteers are nominated by the mayor and approved by city council. Diversity of experience, background, and perspective, as well as the unique needs of the community, will be considered in the selection process. Staff support to the CSAC will be provided through the office of the chief of police. The police chief shall serve as the liaison. We've gone through that. The terms, each member shall be appointed for a 2-year term, except 6 members selected in the first year will serve for 3 years. So I believe we only have 6 right now. So I guess. it's a 3-year term. That's an easy one. In order for business to be conducted, a quorum of at least 6 members must be in attendance for the entirety of the meeting. If there is a vacancy, then the quorum will be reduced by the number of vacancies in the group. Although CSAC is expected to be proactive, it will not have power or authority to investigate, review, or otherwise participate in matters involving specific police personnel or specific police-related incidents. It will not receive or review complaints initiated against personnel of the Seaside Police Department, nor play any role in civil or criminal litigation. CSAC acts solely in an advisory capacity. So I'll say with that, again, I'm going to be as transparent as I can. There's going to be complaints that are public. We've had officers that have made the news for doing awful things over the years, committing crimes or doing things that are out in the open. I may not legally be able to speak to those things, but I definitely want to be as transparent as possible and tell you things that I can, such as, this officer doesn't work here, they're no longer employed, that's as far as I can go. There may be a shooting incident or a tragic incident where the investigation is being led by the district attorney's office. And I can talk about how a shooting looks, but in essence, whenever an officer is involved in a shooting, the district attorney's office conducts a criminal investigation and the police department conducts an administrative investigation. If it's a sensitive investigation, I will let the commission know, I don't want us to be conducting the administrative investigation either. I want it to be independent, a source that's a third party, because there's still a perception is we're going to investigate administratively something that there may be a perception of a bias towards the officer. No, they did it, they wrote within policy, so forth. But these things, I'm going to be as open as I can along the way to share things. As policies change and new equipment may be coming about, I'm going to go out to the commission. One of the things that just passed by city council is a law, it's AB 481, and it has to do with acquiring military equipment. And really this law, Gavin Newsom passed this law and it took effect, and we literally just did this at council. But for a long time, police departments post 9/11 were getting surplus military equipment under a program called 1033. And they had surplus equipment that they would provide to police departments all over. It was grant funded, free basically to law enforcement. The problem with that is a lot of the stuff that they were giving to the police department was very militaristic. Some of it is not. Some of it there was like just, goggles or a helmet or, certain boots and things like that. We entered that program in 2003 or so. And since then, I've discontinued the relationship with them because of some of the things I just didn't like. But what we got from them was an M16 rifle, which is basically the very old rifles that were used in the Vietnam War. And they're a very long, very powerful tool, but it's what you would see in the movies if you saw a military movie, these big long guns. Now they're condensed down, they're called Colt M4 or an AR-15. Essentially, look what we see on television as an assault rifle. We gave all those back. The reason we got those in 2003 is because we had zero funding and we were trying to transition into getting rifles. I was an officer at the time, but that was all in response to a lot of things that started happening in the country in the late 90s and the early 2000s. We had Columbine in the 90s. We had North Hollywood shooting in the 90s. We had school shootings starting to emerge everywhere. And police departments were equipped with handguns. And if you've ever been around or seen a rifle being shot, if you're the person on the other end that doesn't have one, it is the most terrifying thing you'll ever experience. So that was what we went to. But since then, we had this, I'll call it a tank, but it wasn't really a tank. It looked like one. And the peninsula has a regional special response team. SWAT is probably the best way of referring to it as. And at the time, we had this kind of a tank vehicle, and I have pictures somewhere of it. It was really cumbersome. It was slow. It was ballistic. So they used it on the SWAT team for certain things to go and do search warrants for high-risk things. But it really was not something. It looked intimidating, but it wasn't effective for us. All it was, it fit 4 or 5 operators inside this little call. We got rid of that. The SWAT team now has what's called a Bearcat. It looks more of like, it doesn't look like a tank like what Delray Oaks has. Delray Oaks has what's called an MRAP. That vehicle was designed to drive over mines, explosive mines in the military, so you can survive. I don't think we need that in Seaside. I got my ear to the ground, but please tell me if I'm mistaken on that. If it is, we'll get it. I'm teasing. So we've discontinued, but the law that took place has to do with what's defined now by the state as military equipment. And there's a huge list of it, but in essence, it's things like a drone, a little drone, something that flies in the sky. If the police are using it, we have to report that to city council. Now they have to approve us carrying certain things. So without getting too deep into that, and we'll talk about that. Part of the policy that the city adopted and the ordinance is that we have to meet with this group, or at least schedule a meeting 60 days before an annual report, which would be next April. So 60 days before next April, and I will present an annual report on the things that have been classified as military equipment, which are rifles, We have one drone. We have some less lethal options, things like a shotgun that shoots out of bean bags, so we don't have to use real bullets. I have to report all that to this group and share it. And the intent of that is to get your feedback, because you may say, you know, I've talked to residents and we don't like, this is intimidating to us. We don't like this. So I'll provide that to you guys. Certain tools I will be, and again, the city council can say, it doesn't matter, we're not having that. They will govern what we have. I will say the only thing really that we have in our inventory that I think is essential is the patrol rifles. It's a standard issued item. We technically didn't have to report that, but I wanted to because I want the public to know what we have. I don't want any secrets. I want the public to know we have rifles. We've had them for years. And the way I described it at council was, we've never ever used it against a person. In 20 years, we've had these rifles, which some will say, well, then why did we move them? And my argument is, it's like a seatbelt. It's that one time, maybe you haven't been in an accident in 20 years either. That one time you are, do you want to have the right equipment and gear? And we train hard with them. We train, we're very disciplined. And that's a tool that if we, God forbid, ever had an active incident in this community, we are trained to respond to that with equipment that is efficient. And I would hate to send anybody's children, talking about our employees, into a situation where somebody has a machine gun or a rifle or something. We're sending them in with guns that only have 10 bullets at a time, and we have to stop for reloads if they're harming kids like we see across the nation. Outside of that, I'm not too concerned if there was issues with other equipment. I'm going to be, as long as I'm in this role, and whoever, if it's not me, a new chief, supporting them, encouraging them to move towards options of training towards de-escalation. The most effective crime fighting or crime reduction tool I've ever experienced in my entire career here is relationship with community and talking to people with respect. I don't use half the stuff once. I had to pull my taser out last Friday because we had some guy assault somebody. And I'm telling you, I had to train with it a little bit today because I didn't even know how to pull it out. I talk to people, and 98% of the time it's effective. People want to be treated with respect in all situations. So I probably will be talking to this commission about tools that may come up that help us de-escalate, help us use things other than our firearms to resolve situations, things of that nature. And that's kind of really where I'm coming from. I'm going to be, again, as transparent as possible. If there's a policy change or something, I may come through the chair and through the commission and get feedback from you on just anything. I may say, you know, we're thinking about, we have Teslas now, right? So that was a decision pre-commission. But there may be things like that. That's a good example where I come to the commission and say, we are considering getting Tesla electric vehicles. Can you, number one, can I get your input on that? And number two, can you reach out to the community, people that you talk with, and provide feedback for me? That is going to be so helpful, because you may bring something back to me and say, everyone's saying that's a really bad decision. Whatever it is, take away Tesla. And that's going to help me be a more effective chief, or the next person to be more effective chief, and really be a community chief. That's so important. So I'm going to need you guys' feedback on that stuff. Now, again, I may disagree with some things. I want us to have that relationship where we may have some disagreement, but it's good that we're going to get to hear each other out, because you may see something in the paper today and go, why in the heck did Borges just get another Tesla? But if I sat here and said, we got another Tesla because X, Y, Z, you go, okay, that kind of makes sense.
So the chairman of the commission.
There you go. There you go. You wanted a Tesla. You wanted a Tesla. Yeah, it's going to be pulling up in the church lot. So I think you guys have a good flavor. There's two other members that we're going to include in this as well. And the chair, he's the chair, and I'm here as a liaison to that. And you guys can ask me anything and everything. I will never lie to you. And if I cannot tell you, I'll say I can't speak to that. I can't speak to that issue. But if I can, I promise you I'll give you an answer. So I think that kind of covers my perspective.
That's very good. Chief, I just wanted you to just cover one more thing for me. A lot of times the community is not aware of many of the what we would call profiles. peace officer bill of
Okay.
rights. There are some things that you can discuss, there are some things that you just can't discuss. And then there are processes for peace officers that you guys have to follow.
That's right.
And you'll speak to that.
Absolutely. What the chair is talking about is peace officer bill of rights. Police officers have a bill of rights. You may already know about this, you may not, I'm sure you do. But if you don't, essentially there are certain rights that take effect for a police officer under investigation. And here's something unique that people don't understand. If I receive a citizen complaint right now regarding an officer, and I want to question that officer, but his response could lead to punitive damages, meaning any discipline that causes a reduction in pay or a removal from a position or suspension or anything to that effect, that officer's bill of rights kicks in. So as crazy as this may sound, I cannot go up to a police officer and say, did you punch this person in the face? And see what they tell me. Because now I have to notice them with their right to an attorney. I have to give them reasonable accommodations, give them time to sit down with the attorney, schedule something on their time, on their shift that accommodates them, and go through this whole litany of things. I have to serve them with a notice. I have to read them their rights. I have to read what's called a live arger to tell them they have to administratively tell me certain things. It's this massive process when we say we're doing an internal investigation.
So it's like a protocol that you have to follow.
It's,
First this and then that.
Mhm. It's like a protocol, but here's the blessing of things, because if we did that on every single complaint,
Yeah.
we would be probably in this room investigating someone every day of the week,
Absolutely.
because we get complaints. We have body cameras. We wear body cameras. We have dash cams to the patrol car. And there's ways to do things. There's ways to go up to somebody and say, yeah, I just want you to be aware, I got a complaint that you said a foul word on this particular call. No questions. I will tell you, with the Seaside officers here, I can't think of one officer that would not say, you know what, that's not true, or I had a bad day, you know what, I did slip out a cuss word when they said this, I did this. They will volunteer information. That has happened for many years here. When I was a sergeant, all the way up, people do that, and without questioning, and that gets things resolved very quickly. With the body cams, it's such a beautiful thing. I mean, I didn't have to look at the officer. So what was the complaint? I had somebody in my office 2 days ago. They were stopped, and they said the officer, when they stopped me, said certain things, and it was concerning to me. And I sat down, I pulled up the database, and we're in my office downstairs. We pulled up the entire traffic stop on body cam and watched everything. And even the person making the complaint said, I didn't remember that officer saying that, but they did. That kind of changes my perspective of certain things. And it was helpful for me to see. I was a little bit relieved, like, I hope they didn't say that, but they walked up. And they did, which was really nice. But I want to give that, I want to give that to you all as well. Give you that ability if you need to see something. I mean, seriously, I'm an open book. I get busy, but I'm an open book. If there's things that are public record,
Okay.
whatever you guys want, we can watch things. But yes, going back to your original comment, there's things like that that are in place. And I think as we go along with this, we're all going to be educated. I'm going to learn things. We're all going to learn things together. And some things may make sense and some things I disagree with. There are certain laws on the books and processes that they drive me up the wall because they don't make sense to me. But at least we're on the same page of an understanding of why certain things are occurring. Hopefully that answers that piece.
I think it does. I mean, it answers, I mean, I already knew the answer.
You know that.
It answers, but you know, the question always, why did you don't just fire that guy? You just can't fire him, right? You know, you have to go through this process. You know, you have to, there are some things that has to take place.
That's right.
So, thank you.
Yeah, and can I add one more thing about termination? So only the city manager technically can terminate an employee. The department heads basically recommend those things. So if there is an officer that needs to be terminated, they'll be provided an intent to discipline by the chief of police with a recommendation of termination, an intent to discipline for whatever that means, any discipline really. And then there's an appeal process that takes place. So they can appeal that intent to discipline through a process above the level of the chief of police that can go all the way to the city manager. One rank above that would be the city manager. And there would be, we've had in this room, appeal processes that the police officer can go to, and an arbitrator steps in and they can come in and they can reduce, they can dismiss, they can enhance. But we've had situations where we've requested a certain level of discipline, it's been appealed, and an arbitrator throws it out at an appeal. And then the perception is that chief isn't doing his or her job, thinking,
everything I could.
And now we can't talk to you and say, no, I tried to fire this person, but I couldn't. Or they won their appeal, it's all personnel things we can't speak to.
Which is one of the great things about this commission, is because as we begin to speak with our community members, we can let them know that, you know what, there is some systems and some processes that they have to go through. And it just doesn't work like it does in corporate America, you know, because in corporate America, it's fire. You're done. See that. So long, see you later, right? You know, but with the police department, it's just so many different things that go on. Yeah. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Right, we need to review and discuss the regular meeting dates and times. Today is Wednesday, May the 11th, and this is 6 p.m. This is our first meeting. Our ordinance said that we will meet twice a month, but I really probably need to change it for my schedule as well. Because I don't know if I'm going to be able to meet twice a month. And I know that, so I'll see. But for right now, we'll go, let's go by the ordinance.
Can the date be switched from a Wednesday?
Yeah, we can discuss that, right? Because I don't think it's not in writing what day we will meet. Gina?
I was reading actually the form. I thought it was bi-monthly, 6 times a year.
Bi-monthly.
Did I read that incorrectly? The last page that you had.
Yeah, so I
I'm not
have,
sure if it's in the ordinance.
So every other month?
the ordinance actually says it differently, so the ordinance
It does?
is flipping to the other document I have.
Okay.
And I think it says,
Yeah, you did read that. Sure. I didn't realize that part was changed.
Yeah, definitely, it's in the officials twice a month.
yeah, and
So bi-monthly
Bi-monthly.
is even better.
Yeah.
yeah, for me, I gotta be honest with you guys, there may not be enough changes to even bring forward.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But it may be difficult to meet that many times.
Right.
And what's gonna happen is we're not gonna stay on track.
Correct, correct. And then someone's gonna feel like we're wasting my time meeting twice a month, you know, when we were not discussing that.
So I
So,
think it's good for us to get the feedback, like why start it and not get involved. I'll share a little bit. When Mr. Mayor asked me to get involved, and I always see a purpose of some, so I kind of went around all the pastors in the Pacific Islanders, because my father was a pastor. He passed away already. So I got in a bunch of them and I told them what I'm getting involved in. Because we started the Tonga community about, I think, 10 years ago. I kind of mentioned to them, it's very important, you know, and it would be all the pastors. Michael Volk was mine who at St. Francis, because I go to St. Francis. But there's a big island community, and
absolutely.
it keeps growing. There's Salinas. So I met with all of them already before I came. And it was just to get the feedback. After that last officer, because I've got friends who were related to that passed away in Salinas, it was like a concern, and some of them want to get involved. Lack of, you know, some of them not educated, but their kids are out, you know. So I told them, let me go see what we can do. But I do need your support, you know, these officers. So there's a really already, I kind of opened it up a little bit. So I think it's important that we do, maybe we don't have to get together. Like what, the Zoom's going on or something to always kind of have a feedback so it can work. That's my thinking.
Yeah.
You know, I've always, you know, get a project going, give it a push. And if you know Islanders, I had a catering, you know, it's good food, get them together. Because not that I'm saying, and I appreciate what you're saying, like now the concern is, you know, all what the officers are doing. But has anybody really thought about what they're putting their lives out on? That's a lot of mental, you know, that goes on with a lot. They've got families. I have a big side of my family who's in the law. So I support it. I really kind of, so it's good to hear, yes, you know, I support, congratulations. I saw it up on Facebook, you know, and I'm here to support you 110. I already started my homework way before, and it was good because after COVID, get a little something if you want to get started on. So I've got already a lot of good feedback. And one of them from all the pastors, I checked the Mormon church, which is, it's my relative. I went to the church in Salinas, is another relative. And then out here, all I've got to do is Beverly, the Samoan church. So I'm meeting with them next week. And it's just to kind of get them aware of what we're doing. So it's not so much, nobody's perfect, come on now. Some of these officers have had a bad day. My daughter worked at Starbucks and she gave them free drinks and she used to tell me, she goes, Mom, they're just like any of us citizens. Unless you've got something to hide or doing something, we live right next to the Collins, but at the same time, I tell them there's different ways of going after, not a call to the cops every day, So, so maybe it's very important. I know you're busy, but we have something, oh, you can call me anytime. I'll get on it and see how it works out. And I've already got supporters. I talked to Helen Rockers. She's excited about it. I said, this is good. Just a new generation, but not always against the cops. I'm not saying they're all perfect, but there's got to be programs to even help them. Some of them might need a break, not just they might say a few things wrong, but so that's what I'm thinking. And I'm just saying that maybe we can come up with some, instead of meeting, because it's hard, like you said, I couldn't meet, I've got something going on too, but something to keep up with the team, got something going on. I started my homework when Ian tapped to me on last year. He came to my daughter's mass and he mentioned it to me, and I think I mentioned it to you a little bit. And I started my homework then, just to see, I don't want to get involved and, but I feel this is a good team. So we're all busy, but we can do something with now technology, tap in or report into Gina or something to help you in some of the, instead of just focusing on, there's a lot, to be honest, because I was the administrator for the diocese. So I worked a lot with the Oaxacans, El Salvadorians, very aware with a lot of them, helping them out. And they're not so much against, but I think it's sometimes is that gap of communication, because they're not all educated what's going on. And the younger generation is coming up. I'm very involved at Seaside High, just, my son's in football, but keeping that on the loop. I've got family up in Monterey High. So, that's just kind of messaging and putting the iffy about the times we meet. Even if it's once a month, but let's commit it and put something, everybody, you're busy.
Everybody's busy.
Yeah,
But I'm committed to this commission as well.
right.
And it's a public meeting that the public can actually attend by Zoom or something.
I believe that's gonna be the
So
intent.
that's why we have to meet.
Yeah,
It's public in order for them to
Right.
see
to see.
that the committee is in action and committed to coming there.
Yeah,
If I may respond through Pastor Jones, I think that's great what you said, and there's gonna be a lot of stuff, I didn't mention this earlier. This is gonna be very formal when we come together and meet. It'll be formal, we'll have issues we talk about, we'll have public comment, the public will weigh in. And I wrote a couple notes here. We're gonna have a ton of things that go on in the department. We're gonna have community events, we're gonna have gatherings. The fire department and the police department's planning a meet and greet for all these new hires that we both hired. And those are things that I think we can do exactly what you said. These are informal things. We want that forum. We include the commission and you guys get the invite and saying, hey, at this day, this time we're coming here. We'd love for the commission to be a part of this, and whoever can show up is wonderful. And now we're having those informal things to build up. So when we do have a formal, it's fruitful.
Right.
Peer support, something that I'm working on right now is bringing peer support to the officers for the reasons you explained.
yes,
Because we do have good people. The concern that I have is that we do have officers that are bad too, not necessarily here, but they exist. We watch it on the news every day. But if we have programs in place to help officers and help them curb kind of their ego a bit and understand that it's okay to seek help and cry and be depressed or whatever it may be, whatever they're feeling, that's important. We had a gentleman pass away on Hillby yesterday. I don't know if you heard about it.
No.
He was working on his car and he had a jack on his car and he was out by himself in the street. The car came down and rest in peace. And the first people there was two of our police officers administering CPR, trying to bring it back, and they were unsuccessful. And paramedics were there, and the fire department showed up. But these are things that the officers will go to, and as you know, you've seen a lot in your career. You go to, you see it, and the expectation is now get ready for the next call. Now be ready for the next call. And we forget that these things sit with you, that will weigh on you. And unfortunately, we see police officers that should never be police officers. We saw that in Derek Chauvin. If you don't know his name, you should know George Floyd. When you see things like that, those are the things where I still can't watch the video because I yelled at the screen, get off. If I was there, I'm telling you right now, and the officers I talked to, I'm not condoning it, like just condoning it. I would have intervened. I would have said, I'm a police officer, let me help you get him up. He can't breathe. What are you doing? So anyways, those are the things I want to prevent. And I just want to share a little bit about who I am because I didn't get there. I think sometimes that's important. I'm a father. I have 3 children. I have a 13-year-old girl, 10-year-old girl, and a 1.5-year-old boy. And that's why I'm a little bit tired right now. Trust me, he kept me up since yesterday. My wife owns a Paris Bakery up on Broadway, just before Noche Buena. Her family has that one in the Monterey branch, but my wife has been running this one for 20 some years. Yeah. My family, my dad was born and raised in Portugal, came here when he was 17. And so I speak a little bit of Spanish. I used to speak Portuguese decently, but it turned into Spanish because of all the jobs I worked. And but now my Spanish is, I will not speak it in front of you because I know how D-Lamp is. And when I was just there recently, I thought I'm keeping my Spanish to myself. Because they were so proper, the Spanish is intimidating. But
Not anymore.
not anymore. But that's kind of who I am. But I want you guys to also know me as a person because I think that's important. When I'm done with this meeting and I go off duty, I go downstairs, this uniform top comes off and I put my Golden State Warriors sweater on and I go home. So, that's who I am as a person. I don't know if you guys want to share it with you, but I love what you're saying and I think you're going to be committed to making it successful.
And just touching on that, I think it would be really interesting to have a blue school, like a little brochure or something with all of the officers, because it really does make a difference. Just now, you telling me your humanity, really see, all of a sudden, you really see a person in a different light, not just the uniform. Because when I first came in here, boom, the uniform.
That's right.
Right? And so I didn't know how you were. Now that you tell us, I say, wow, that is a really wonderful human being.
Well,
The,
thank you.
no,
I'm a regular person.
yes, but what I'm saying is that if all of the officers had a little, something that describes who they are, just like you did, like you just told us, it would really be wonderful.
That's a great idea.
And one of the goals of the commission is so that we all can get to know the
Yeah,
police
the
staff.
human being.
You know, and that's important. And so that we get to know each other, know who the police staff.
Exactly. I don't know your officers. I've met you as officers in your office, you took me on a tour.
Every 4 years.
My story is.
We want to take everybody.
No, I went on a tour when I was in elementary school of jail and everything, and I had not been back in Seaside Jail until last year. When I came to have a meeting with him, and he took me on another tour, so every 40 years, I'm going to go.
The sad part is it didn't change.
Yeah, right.
That's still the same space.
No,
Neither had the facility. So okay.
I wanted to be in jail, and he took me in
And
there.
that's the other part, the commission will be taking a tour.
Oh, good.
With the chief.
Field trips.
Yeah, so we'll take a tour. It's not very big, but
We made a lot of changes.
Well,
Yeah.
Listen, we've seen one jail, just seen, well, I've seen jail for 30 years.
I do have a little question about the Tesla.
Yeah.
I really like that we're going electric or, energy efficient. But does it have to be Tesla? There's a lot of other electric cars. I just don't,
I'm
I
gonna
don't know if it's cheaper to do the Teslas or
no,
other electric.
it's not cheaper, and I'll be very honest with you, it's not that I'm not a Tesla fan, I'm not a Tesla fan for a police car. This is kind of something
Yeah.
that started and made its way. We just finished with, they're both back there. We welcome them at the end. If you just walk to the end of this little ramp here, you can look over and see them on the right-hand side. We just got to put decals. Tesla would not be my first option for a vehicle. We have Ford Explorer hybrids that we got. We have new decals on them. They're much cheaper. They're extremely good on fuel. They're fuel efficient. It's a good step, and they're reliable.
But they're not electric.
They're not fully electric, and there are other options. The issue with it is we have officers working a 12-hour shift. And when you make a police car into, I'm sorry, an electric car into a police car, it's basically, the way they describe it to me is if you turn your cell phone into a car and you start adding in things, and just think about when you're using an app, sometimes it drains your battery just because they're on a certain app.
Yeah.
We start adding in cameras and we start adding in radios and lights and all these things. It all runs through the battery.
Right.
Those cars will not get a 12-hour shift, especially if they're just cruising around driving. But they may get 7, 8 hours if we're lucky.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's amazing. And just imagine if you have a busy night and you're having to drive from here to here and here and here and your lights are on, you're not going to have a car that's efficient. And
So a hybrid would be better?
I think a hybrid initially would be better because that's more reliable for what we need. Ultimately, the way they're making electric cars, we will be electric
Yeah.
fully. But I think we should have taken a step to get to that level. That's just going from here to here. And you know why it took so long? It's been a year since we purchased them.
Okay.
A big part of it was the supply chain, but only a few agencies in the country have gone to a Tesla. I think Indiana went to one, Fremont went to one, we work a lot with them, and LAPD, I think. There may be other places now, that's the only ones at the time I was familiar with. They're very difficult to outfit. They have glass roof, we have lights, so in order to put a light bar with the lights and sirens, you have to have a special thing built. They have to put, cage unit in the back for prisoners to sit in the back. Have you ever been in a Tesla and drove in one?
I've been in a Tesla, but not, have never.
I've been in one in Jersey.
Why, if you've ever been in one and somebody puts their foot on the pedal, it is like a rocket ship. I'm
Well, I
not,
see what you're saying.
it is so
Yeah.
fast. It is so fast. And when you let up, it almost stops on the dime.
Yeah.
So that's a really neat thing, because you think, oh, we'll be able to catch people, but then I think, some officers, I don't know if I want them on a rocket ship
Yeah.
in Seaside and one-way street down Vallejo or something.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, it's not my first choice, but they're here. We're gonna make the best use of it and kind of see how that goes. I don't see myself getting another Tesla. I could definitely see going hybrid, but once we have it, great. Again, I encourage you to look back there,
Yeah.
the back, you'll be able to see them. Teslas, you'll see them. Neat looking car, but then there's also a perception because Teslas are not cheap.
Yeah,
So-
that's what I was getting.
That's what the public didn't
The
like.
public is going to say, frown upon the fact that, there's so many homeless people, there's so many
Correct.
people that cannot even afford rent.
Mhm.
And at least get to drive around on a Tesla.
I'm not one to drive one. What I am gonna drive, I guarantee you this, we've got a 3-wheel, the parking, kind of the scooter thing, like they used to call the meter maid vehicles.
Oh,
I am gonna drive that first, and I already told everybody, I'm getting in that thing. I am, and I will go up and down Broadway. in that thing. I have to do that. I've never been, I always wanted to drive one since I was young. But the Teslas are very pricey, and I don't know if that's.
and how many are there?
We only have 2.
Oh,
Two.
okay.
Currently, the Tesla has the
Okay.
best battery life out of all the
Yeah,
out of all of the electric cars. So that's probably why they went to them as well.
it's a good reason. And the intent was really good, because they're looking at the emissions and looking at being going
Oh,
green.
absolutely. You're
So the
right.
intention is good, but it's compatible police car, it's still got some challenges.
I just think that there's so many other electric vehicles happening that are cheaper.
But the battery life on them are a lot less than what Tesla is. And so
For right now.
yeah, for right now, so they have to be charged more frequently.
Oh, yeah.
All of them.
All of them are, right? So we're back to discussing regular meetings.
We went off track there.
Yeah, we kind of went off track, but, so, is Wednesday good with everybody?
months, that's my least.
That's your,
That's my least.
That's your
I
least
do-
favorite
the
day.
least favorite day. Well, I'm already tutoring on Wednesdays. And usually, I am tutoring all the way till 5 o'clock. And sometimes the people are late to pick up the child. And it runs into 5:30. And then it's just a little bit of a struggle to get here by 6. But if Wednesday is what everybody else, anyways, you said it was only gonna be once a month instead of twice a month.
I think we should just double check with Dominique to make sure we don't violate anything within the
Right.
ordinance, that we have the authority, that the chair has the authority to put that on the table. and vote.
I don't think we want to violate the ordinance in our first meeting.
No.
I can turn the recording off.
But there is a question of whether it is bi-monthly or every other month or
Right,
something like
yeah.
that. 'Cause-
So there's that question.
Right.
But, right, so we won't know that probably today. We'll probably get that later on this week.
Yeah, probably later in the week. I can follow up with Dominique and get
And then
clarification.
you can send out an email to us all,
Okay,
and then that'd be great.
Wednesdays are actually good for me. The other
Wednesdays are
days
good
of the
for me
week
too.
are really bad. for me.
Yeah, Wednesdays
Mondays are good for me.
Wednesdays are good for me as
Yeah.
well. It's probably the best day for me as
Me as
well.
well.
yeah, but it's more a majority and I don't mind doing the Wednesdays, but if it was like
Right.
once a month is better than.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Or I might be not
And if-
here every time.
And if you're a little late, you'll be all right. We'll excuse you for being a little late.
Okay,
But we want you to be here and you're participating.
yeah, thank you.
Okay, so we're agreed on Wednesdays, and then we will look for the email from the city clerk so that we'll know if it's bi-monthly or a monthly meeting.
Okay, so we don't want to set a next meeting date yet, until we hear from her.
What did the ordinance say?
Set one.
Well, it would be nice to set the next meeting date.
I know next month I have a lot of training. I'm actually like a 3-week thing I have to be committed to. I won't be able to do it. I could do it probably the first week or the last week we do it. But I just want to read more of the ordinance because I saw it different in here.
And I'm looking for the ordinance now, looking to see if
I
I.
know, they sent it to us by.
Yeah,
email, but
I
don't
meant
have
to
my
print it.
phone.
I meant to print it out as well, but I forgot. I have.
I have an
another
extra
event
copy. I
today. I
believe.
have another event today, so I didn't get to do it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's in here, it says the commission shall meet monthly or when called by the chair.
Monthly, that's
Okay.
good.
Okay, monthly is good.
Monthly or when called by the chair.
Okay, so we're gonna meet monthly, for now, for monthly, and we will, on Wednesdays.
So now we fix it.
Any particular Wednesday, like
First,
first,
second,
second, third?
what is this one? Is this the second one?
This is.
Yes,
this-
we're on the second one.
Second Wednesday. in May.
Yeah, this is the second Wednesday. in May. So we can meet the first Wednesday, or you won't be here.
I won't be here.
Yeah.
I will be back the 24th,
Ooh,
but that's the comeback, so.
That's the end.
Yeah, so I'll be back the 25th.
Is that
That's a
on
Saturday.
the
That's a Saturday.
I'm looking in the wrong month. We got to meet Saturday, 6 p.m.
We're not meeting Saturdays at 6 p.m.
You will be
So the
by
Wednesday
yourself.
will be the 29th. That's the Wednesday.
I can do the 29th.
Wednesday the 29th?
So it'll be the fourth one.
Yeah, it'll be the fourth Wednesday, Wednesday the 29th. 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there, is 6:15, would that be a little more comfortable for you? Since you're coming on the
Yeah.
Wednesdays for us, how would that be for everybody? It's just a suggestion,
So good suggestion.
Just 15 minutes.
so that way she's not pressured with that.
That'll be
That's
good.
good with you. 6:15.
But
It's good with
actually,
me.
if it's only gonna be once a month, it's doable.
So if it's once a month, it's doable at 6 p.m.
Just so,
And again, I think like Pastor Jones said, if you're a few minutes late,
yeah. So that was just 29?
6/29, June 29th, yes. Okay. Just gotta put it in my phone, because if I don't, then I will not be,
You won't remember.
I will not remember. And, you know, might not remember it, even though I have it in my phone.
But the
Oh.
young lady, I think her name is Dominique,
Mhm.
she was really good at calling us or sending us an email.
You know, that young lady,
To remind us.
And reminders.
you know, that young lady is an excellent person.
You need this.
Oh, we're
Proud.
Joan, how did you like that?
She is.
Okay, how is she today?
She's my daughter.
Oh. So Kennedy is your granddaughter?
Yes.
Oh.
She does everything. I watch her at city council meetings and I just go, I want that job.
I know.
I want that
Is
job.
she the young lady that came in here?
Mhm.
Okay, see, I didn't know her.
Actually, I need to go pull it because she has to give you your oath before we.
Yes, she has to give us all our oath, right? Did everybody take the oath?
Should we adjourn the meeting?
Yeah, I did.
Mhm.
Is that part of the meeting? I think it's part of the.
I think
meeting.
it's part
Oh,
of
it
it.
is? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Talk about oath, I was coming to one of the ministers for the Tongue Church of Salinas called me, and goes, "Do you want us all over there to city seaside for the oath?" I said, "What?" He's, they're under the impression, I said, "This is the meeting, they're starting out, you know, but they're excited." That's what I said. When Mr. Mayor asked me last year, I said, no. Then I got hit with COVID. Then I said, there's a
You had
reason.
COVID yourself?
Yeah, I had a bad, God, praise be to God, I'm back in one good piece. So,
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt, but when was that?
last year, I got it in February.
Of last February.
This
Not
no,
this
this is
February.
February. So, thank you.
Hello, Ms. Davis.
Hello. Hello. How's everything going? You guys are
Good. Yeah, we're actually on number 8, report for staff and recruitment effort to fill the commission vacancies.
Okay, all right, well, that's me. Hello, everyone. My name is Dominique Davis. I'm the city clerk. And as you know, this particular, or may not know, this particular commission, sorry,
Do you know what time the meeting is?
until they're done.
Till I'm done.
Yeah.
Someone's asking.
Yeah. And so this particular commission has 11 seats. And so we have 6 filled currently, and so there are still 5 vacancies. We do have an ad going out into the weekly this week that'll run for 3 weeks to advertise for the vacancy that we have on this commission and several others that we have within the city. So if you know of anyone, please refer them to me. Also on our website, they can apply on the city's website to the commission as well. And that's all that I have as far as announcement. Oh, I have one other. On June 9th, there will be 2 sessions for commissioner training and orientation. It'll be the first one will be from 1 to 3. The second session will be 3 to 5. It will be held virtually on Zoom. But if you aren't available, the sessions will be recorded and it will be available as an on-demand webinar as well for you. But the training will be live on that day. And then if you can't make it, then we'll make sure that you get the recording to, it'll review the boards and commissions handbook, procedures and everything that you need to know as far as interacting with your commission and your liaison and all of that pertinent information.
Do you have the handbook printed in paper?
We don't have the handbook printed in paper now. It'll be available next week. And I'll send out an email to all the commissioners and let you know that it's available. Either you can pick it up and then I'll have it electronically as well.
You said that there's like 5 openings and you're going to like still recruit.
Yes.
Could there be a mention, is there an age limit? Because I think that we need some of the younger
You know, it says-
18 and over. I believe for this particular commission, there is a student representative slot as well. That's not counted in the 11. So there could be a
Aside
student,
from the 11.
yes, there could be a student representative slot. The basic requirement is that they be a resident of Seaside, and 18 years or, and older.
But of the 5 vacancies, they should be 18-year-olds.
Yes. And then, of course, these commission meetings will be open to the public. So anyone who is interested to attend and to provide public comment to the commission on things on their agenda or not, they'll have the opportunity to do so in person or virtually as much as we can provide it.
So do they apply or do they call you or?
Yes, they can apply online, or they can just give me a call and I can walk them through the steps as well.
This next meeting that we have set, it will be open to the public. So that means we need to schedule through here, right? For council chambers. So I can check to see if council chambers is available that date that we suggested. for the next
That's
meeting.
one question. We're talking a little bit about setting the meetings. And the ordinance specifies we meet monthly.
Mhm.
I believe. If the chair of the group wanted to change how we meet, do we have the authority to do that? Or do we have to stick to what the ordinance says specifically?
How you meet as far as the frequency?
Yes.
Correct.
It has to be at least monthly.
Okay.
So not less than monthly. Some commissions meet quarterly, and so that was not a provision that was provided in the ordinance for this particular commission. So you could meet more than just your regular monthly meeting if needed.
Can't be less.
Can't meet less. You must have a meeting. And even if there is a meeting where a quorum isn't met, that doesn't count against you, but we want to try to avoid that as much as possible. But that's another reason why it's essential to get all the seats filled so that you're less likely to not have a quorum because you still have a solid number. Even if 1 or 2 are missing, you can still proceed with the business of the commission.
And what percentage of quorum?
It has to be at least 50% plus 1.
Oh, 50+1.
So 6 would be your quorum.
But if we have vacancies, then that quorum level lessens.
Yes,
So
So like-
minus the vacancies,
right.
Yeah.
So like for tonight, you don't have, those seats are not filled.
right?
So that they don't count against you.
So we have 6 people and out of the 6, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us.
4. 4. So you,
There are 2 missing tonight.
there's 2 missing tonight. So you still do have a quorum for tonight's
That's what I meant.
meeting
Yeah.
because you have 50% plus 1.
Right. Okay.
And then there are 3 members that still need to take their oath of office, and I can administer that as well this evening.
Yes, we would like that.
Yeah, that's me. Or I'm on one.
Yes, she did. It's all came in right away. And I got hers done. And then there's only one other commissioner that hasn't had their oath, the other 2. That's all I have for you. So thank you.
So is the oath part of the meeting or do we need to
No.
call the meeting?
You can, I'm done.
Okay.
So once he adjourns.
So anybody else have anything else for our meeting today? And do I need a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Need a motion.
I motion to adjourn the meeting.
Yeah, a motion and second, meeting adjourned.
7:08.
You were waiting for that.
No, after 6. Yeah.
But you didn't get it when we started.
No, I didn't.
So we'll use this.
Next time.
Gina?
Hold on a second.